Live from the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center, AVC Communications presents Meet the Candidates. Meet the Candidates is brought to you by Living Free Events, Stephanie L. Williams for Municipal Court Judge, Jagged Edges Hair Studio, Myra Shire for Municipal Court Judge, Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center, and Guernsey Brew House.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Meet the Candidates. The purpose of this program, created and produced by AVC News, is to educate local residents to help them make an informed decision regarding races and issues in the upcoming general election. I'm your moderator, Bill Kassler. Tonight we're going to hear from both Cambridge Mayor Tom Orr and Byesville Mayor Jay Jackson. These men are unopposed in November, quite happily, I might add. We'll have some informal discussion on what's been accomplished in the city and the village, as well as some of the biggest challenges facing both municipalities. Finally, we're going to hear from both candidates in our area's most critical contested election this November, a race for a seat on the bench as judge of Cambridge Municipal Court. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Jagged Edges Hair Studio is now taking new clients. Located at 10143 Washington Street in Byesville, Jagged Edges is a VIP experience in a private setting. We offer cuts, colors, and styling with facial waxing and retail products. All you have to do is give Casey a call today to book your next appointment. 740-584-6117. That's 740-584-6117. Call Casey today.
I'm Stephanie Williams, your Republican candidate for Cambridge Municipal Court Judge. I'm proud to be endorsed by the Guernsey County Republican Central Committee and our brave men and women in law enforcement from our 2 local FOP lodges. I bring over 20 years of experience working in our court system, where I've been a prosecutor and now a magistrate. I'm ready to serve, and you can count on me to work tirelessly to make sure we promote law and order in Guernsey County. Again, this is Republican Stephanie Williams, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 7th.
Paid for by Committee to elect Stephanie Williams, Samantha Church Treasurer. If you're in the mood for real local beer, Guernsey Brew House is the place to be. Swing by their spot at 4550 Bloomfield Road in Cambridge. They've got live music every week, a wide selection of craft beer brewed right here in Cambridge, and both indoor and outdoor seating. They've got food trucks on site most days, so you won't go hungry. Bring the whole fam, because they're family friendly too. Follow them on Facebook for all the upcoming events. Cheers to good times and great beer, only at the Guernsey Brew House.
Living Free Events would like to host a total free event on October the 7th from 1 to 5 at the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center. They've got live music lined up, including performers by Jason Woods at 1 o'clock, Joanne Jones at 2 o'clock, New Promise at 3, and Josh Evans Ministry at 4. For more information, please check out our website at livingfreeevents.com or Facebook. See you there.
Myra who?
Hi, I'm Myra Shire, and I'm running to be the next judge of the Cambridge Municipal Court. No matter how you pronounce my last name, most people know me as Myra, a dedicated public servant. Myra, the assistant law director. Myra, a community volunteer with my husband Jeff. If elected judge, I promise that I will serve Guernsey County with honesty and integrity. I respectfully ask for your vote on November 7th.
Vote Myra in November for Municipal Court Judge. Paid for by Myra Shire for Judge.
The Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center has a wonderful lineup of holiday concerts coming up. On Thursday, November 9th, the Tom Daughtry Big Band USO Christmas Show takes the stage at 7 p.m. Following on November 10th, 11th, and 12th, it's the Sherlock Holmes Murder Mystery Show. November 26th, the crowd favorite is the Cambridge City Band Christmas Concert. In December, enjoy the Cambridge Singers Christmas Show. And excited to announce the Matthew Voorhees Memorial Christmas Concert is back. Be sure to like the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center Facebook page to see dates and times of upcoming events.
Welcome back to Meet the Candidates. I'm sitting here with Mayor Tom Orr, Mayor Jay Jackson of Cambridge and Byesville. And gentlemen, we discussed a little bit earlier who was going to go first, and I'll give Mayor Jackson a lot of credit. He said, my goodness, Mayor Orr always goes first. I said, because we have to know when to quiet him down, okay? We've only got a 10-minute segment here, and this is kind of an informal discussion. Both mayors are unopposed this time. Quite happily, both of them told me that they are unopposed. It is not a bad thing. So, and we do want to talk about the city of Cambridge and the village of Byesville. And we're going to start with you, Tom. Just tell us, And I know you've got a few things listed there.
I
And
can shoot from the hip, but I didn't know where that might go. So we're gonna
just tell us, what are some of the biggest, most recent accomplishments of your administration? I know there's a list here.
the most recent right now, I mean, things happen almost every day. I mean, it just depends on. But I think the one thing I feel real good about, lately, we filled the last spot down the old Kmart building. You know, for a long time that sat empty.
Yes.
And us and the county got together, and that's been something that we've done a lot, linking hands and making it happen, and get some money moving, more traffic, more head count, and then that makes somebody else want to come, and somebody else come. We had a couple coffee shops. In fact, we got many coffee shops as probably anywhere out there. I mean, we're doing it
Not a
out.
bad thing, I like coffee.
But I mean, as far as, I get excited about the little things. I mean, paving roads. I mean, we've been paving. Of course, so as soon as we think we got it done, the phone rings, and how come you didn't do my roads? You get back into that. But it's constant, it's lively, busy. I think it takes our personality sometimes, Got to stay open-minded and flexible.
Talk a little bit about the EMS levy passage. I thought that was pretty big.
That's huge for our citizens. We have 18 different departments before that passed. Now we're going to have 19. That's huge for our city and our county to help get involved. We still need everybody involved on that. At the same time, we've got a few hurdles ahead of us, but we have the talent base, I believe, to pull that off. There's been a lot of good discussions backstage. And again, we take baby steps, but we'll be there. We said we're going to do it, and we're going to try to get that and deliver. So it's a little nerve-wracking, though. That's something we've never done before as a city.
Well, it's a needed thing, and I'll tell you what, to help achieve that, you guys did score on a couple of grants, too, that's pretty big for the city, isn't it?
We've been lucky. I mean, the grant thing, we've got good people in good places writing full-time and bonding with other units in order to pull that all together. We just landed a $3.8 million grant that we're going to do some water lines and loops, and that'll go through the hospital or school system on the north end. And I know there's some neighbors out in that area that's been without water a few times this last year. So, but then again, like I said, there's plenty of that to keep on going. Just keep on safe routes to school, sidewalks, curbs, gutters. We just keep lining up and going. Just keep going.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, sir. Hey, let's check in with Jay, because I know there's a lot of things going on in Byesville as well.
Yeah.
Can you maybe bring us up to date on some of that?
Well, I mean, as always, the goal has been to create an environment that we could build thriving businesses and a place where families can strive and grow. A lot of things we're proud of is our partnerships, not only with Cambridge, the county. We got great schools, the township. We all pretty much work well together. Really just something that's really been really cool to see through all this is our small business growth. I mean, right now, knock on wood, we won't have any openings. So that's kind of impressive to see in a short period of time. And just overall, just the energy on the streets. I mean, I think the people are appreciative of the type of things that are coming in and are there, and they're supporting them. And we just continue to keep trying to change the landscape, whether it be signage or little things like that, just to give people something to be proud of. Yeah.
Anything on the grant frontier as far as grants?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as an administration, we always strive to get grants, whether it be from our fire, police, et cetera. I mean, we scored a $90,000 block grant for our Patriot Park project. We're working on grants for another venture, the Center for Business Innovation, which is the old Byesville Elementary project. That's such a staple in our community. And then anytime there's a grant, we try to go for it. Now, we're not always successful, but knock on wood, we've been doing fairly good at it.
Got to go after them, or
you got to.
No
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, hey, let's talk now about some of the biggest challenges that are facing both the city and the village. Tom, we'll start with you. Some of the big challenges that you're looking ahead to in the city of Cambridge.
Well, some of it's kind of, I just want to say right off the get-go is anything to do with police and fire is so critical. I mean, whether it's mandates and changes and training and, trying to stretch everything out, tighten things up, and bond more with the sheriff department and different things like that. I think it's important we do that. That's an area where I want to see us do better. Same time, financially, the world keeps preaching how bad it is to be a policeman or a sheriff, and I'm over that. But at the same time, we will be part of a community that stands behind that stuff and make sure that we get rid of that kind of thought and back that up. That's a big challenge going forward. And at the same time, just every day making sure the money's coming in and paying the bills. It's no different in people's houses. You know, when you watch these groups go on strike up top and things like that, it trickles on down. People see that on the news and they get a little crazy sometimes. And they look for us to kind of stabilize stuff. It sounds, you wouldn't think that it'd end up in the mayor's office, but it does. Economic community development, whether it's a roof or a hot water heater. I mean, people are looking for somebody to help them out. And just trying to keep a good mix of it. One thing good about Guernsey County, Cambridge, Byesville, the volunteerism and the care is way up there. And I think we like knowing who we know, knowing who these people are. And it just works. And I think they just want people to get along and get the job done. And there's plenty of room, and we'll get some new ones out here trying today. And that's a good thing. And that's what, that's important. This court that they're going to be running for is something that runs through our budget, so it's important.
All right, hey, let's check in with Mayor Jackson. Jay, some of the biggest challenges facing the village of Byesville right now.
Well, as a village, it always comes down to economics, because with every budget, every year is a little different, but you're always trying to stretch that money for the people to provide those services. And as Tom alluded to, safety services, that's always high on the list, whether it be police, fire. I mean, those aren't cheap, and the costs keep rising, whether it be equipment or training. But those are some of the things we always try to work on as far as grants and just partnering with people, because that's a big thing. But I would definitely say it'd be in the financial end of things.
Okay. Any further comments? Anything else you guys want to add, or anything I didn't touch on?
Well, usually we have closing remarks because we're in competition.
Yeah, you're not.
And this is so weird. But at the same time, I just want to, in closing, it's an honor to work with all the people that serve out there. I've been at this a little while now. I can't believe it's almost been 15 years. And that's my life we're talking about. And when I look over my shoulder, some of the mayors that served before me, they're not around anymore. So me and Jackson, we do a lot of different things, keep up with stuff, and it's appreciated. I just want to reach out and tell you that tonight. And same time, that's how we're going to do it. Guernsey County, when you look at the numbers, we all have to play well in the sandbox, no question.
Jay, anything final?
I hope he's got some room in the sandbox for me, but but no, it's
yeah,
just,
you can't get in that anyway.
Squeeze in there. There's a little room. I'll make it work. But no, it's just a blessing to be able to do this job. I mean, and to serve the people. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about relationships, because we all do need each other. And I'm proud of the things we've accomplished in Byesville, and I'm proud of the things we've accomplished in the county. So I look forward to great things all around, and I appreciate your time and bring us back in.
Well, congratulations to you, one more term, Mayor
thank
Jackson,
you.
very much
Thank
so,
you.
and congratulations to you, Mayoral, one more term, sir.
Well, thank
hey,
you.
with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with a look at our municipal court judge candidates right after this.
Voters across the state will be deciding the fate of State Issue 1, an amendment related to abortion rights and other reproductive decisions, while approval of State Issue 2 will commercialize, regulate, and legalize the use of marijuana here in the Buckeye State. In Guernsey County, only a few contested races to be decided in November. The hottest race is for that of Guernsey County Municipal Court Judge between Myra Shearer and Stephanie Williams. Cambridge voters will be choosing between candidates Jeff Leonard and Steve Maurer for First Ward Councilman, while voters will be choosing between 3 candidates for the seat for Mayor of Pleasant City. A crowded race for one seat for Jackson Township Trustee between Dennis Gibbs, Ron Gambita, Tom Kenworthy, Donald Marlatt, and Glenn Underwood. The Cambridge City Schools Board of Education race shows Sarah Flatten, Rachel Kansky, Ronald Miller, and Steve Taylor all vying for 2 seats there, and a 2-year unexpired term for the Rolling Hills Local School District Board of Education, that race going to either Matt Motes or Brian Stoney. A number of levy issues will appear on the Guernsey County ballot in Byesville, Cumberland, Old Washington, Pleasant City, and many other townships, while Cambridge voters will be deciding the fate of a pair of fire renewal levies for the Cambridge Fire Department.
Jagged Edge's Hair Studio is now taking new clients. Located at 10143 Washington Street in Byesville, Jagged Edge's is a VIP experience in a private setting. We offer cuts, colors, and styling with facial waxing and retail products. All you have to do is give Casey a call today to book your next appointment. 740-584-6117. That's 740-584-6117. Call Casey today. Myra Shearer? Myra who?
Hi, I'm Myra Shire, and I'm running to be the next judge of the Cambridge Municipal Court. No matter how you pronounce my last name, most people know me as Myra, a dedicated public servant. Myra, the assistant law director. Myra, a community volunteer with my husband Jeff. If elected judge, I promise that I will serve Guernsey County with honesty and integrity. I respectfully ask for your vote on November 7th.
Vote Myra in November for Municipal Court Judge. Paid for by Myra Shire for Judge.
If you're in the mood for real local beer, Guernsey Brew House is the place to be. Swing by their spot at 4550 Bloomfield Road in Cambridge. They've got live music every week, a wide selection of craft beer brewed right here in Cambridge, and both indoor and outdoor seating. They've got food trucks on site most days, so you won't go hungry. Bring the whole fam, because they're family friendly too. Follow them on Facebook for all the upcoming events. Cheers to good times and great beer, only at the Guernsey Brew House.
Living Free Events would like to host a total free event on October the 7th from 1 to 5 at the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center. They've got live music lined up, including performers by Jason Woods at 1 o'clock, Joanne Jones at 2 o'clock, New Promise at 3, and Josh Evans Ministry at 4. For more information, please check out our website at livingfreeevents.com or Facebook. See you there.
I'm Stephanie Williams, your Republican candidate for Cambridge Municipal Court Judge. I'm proud to be endorsed by the Guernsey County Republican Central Committee and our brave men and women in law enforcement from our 2 local FOP lodges. I bring over 20 years of experience working in our court system, where I've been a prosecutor and now a magistrate. I'm ready to serve, and you can count on me to work tirelessly to make sure we promote law and order in Guernsey County. Again, this is Republican Stephanie Williams, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 7th.
Paid for by committee to elect Stephanie Williams, Samantha Church Treasurer. The Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center has a wonderful lineup of holiday concerts coming up. On Thursday, November 9th, the Tom Daughtry Big Band USO Christmas Show takes the stage at 7 p.m. Following on November 10th, 11th, and 12th, it's the Sherlock Holmes Murder Mystery Show. November 26th, the crowd favorite is the Cambridge City Band Christmas Concert. In December, enjoy the Cambridge Singers Christmas Show. And excited to announce the Matthew Voorhees Memorial Christmas Concert is back. Be sure to like the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center Facebook page to see dates and times of upcoming events.
Welcome back to Meet the Candidates. Hey, the most critical contested election this November is the race for the seat on the bench for Judge of Cambridge Municipal Court, Judge John Martin Nicholson. He's been there quite a long time, since the 70s, so this is going to be a big change for everyone. Cambridge Municipal Court has jurisdiction over civil, criminal, and traffic matters originating in Guernsey County. Pretty important court. Overall court receipts for 2021 exceeded $2,196,000. Overall court receipts for 2022 were nearly $2,270,000. That's a lot of revenue. There are 2 judicial candidates for Cambridge Municipal Court. Myra Shire, currently serving as the Assistant City Law Director for the City of Cambridge, and Stephanie Williams, currently a magistrate for the Muskingum County Common Pleas Court Domestic Relations Division. The rules are as follows. All questions have been drafted by AVC News. The questions are not shared with anyone outside the AVC News department before the debate. Opening and closing remarks may not exceed 60 seconds in length. Answers to questions must be 60 seconds or less. The first candidate to respond will have the option for a 30-second rebuttal if they consider it necessary after their opponent's response. There are no signs, charts, or other props that may be used during this program. Paper notes and notes taken during the forum are encouraged. Electronic devices are not permitted. Each candidate will be given the opportunity to ask their opponent 2 questions during the segment before closing remarks. Each candidate is expected to answer the same question that they ask their opponents. Candidates are not required to ask any questions. Ladies, welcome to Meet the Candidates. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started.
Thank you.
Okay. First question. Oh, actually, the opening statements first, and I think that we want to defer to Stephanie for the opening statements. 60 seconds, please, Stephanie.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. Thank you to AVC Communications for having us here tonight. As Bill said, I'm Stephanie Williams. I'm the Republican candidate for Cambridge Municipal Court Judge. I was born and raised in Guernsey County, have chosen to be a lifelong resident of our county. I offer more than 20 years of legal experience, including 15 years during which I served as an assistant prosecutor with the Guernsey County Prosecutor's Office, 19 years representing individuals in Guernsey and surrounding counties, and almost 3 years of invaluable experience from the bench as a result of my current duties as a magistrate. During my career, I've appeared daily in various courts representing individuals, law enforcement officers, victims of crime, and most recently, serving on the bench, applying the law and making decisions that will forever affect the lives of the people that appear before me. I'm uniquely qualified to serve as your next municipal court judge. I look forward to a very productive discussion tonight.
Thank you, Stephanie. And Myra, your opening statement.
Thank you for having us and joining us in person and online tonight. Hi, I'm Myra Shire. Many of you may know me as Myra Enos. I grew up on a small farm in Guernsey County where I learned from my parents and neighbors like you the value of hard work and dedication. I'm a Cambridge High School graduate, Muskingum College, and Capital University Law School graduate. In my current role, I'm your local assistant law director, where I represent the state of Ohio in the municipal court each week. I work with law enforcement officers, area businesses, and victims of crime. I'm also a small business owner. Tonight, I'm asking for your vote to be the next judge of the Cambridge Municipal Court. I'm experienced and I understand that together, we need a court that works with all county agencies, law enforcement, nonprofits, and churches to solve long-term problems, eliminate gaps, and do justice for victims of crime. I'm also proud to announce that I've just been endorsed by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters 495 and the Brotherhood of the Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen. I look forward to our discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's get started with questions. And our first question tonight will go to Stephanie. Stephanie, what do you see as your role as judge in this community?
Well, the role of judge in the community is to ensure that justice is served. You're required to hear all the cases that come before the court and ensure that each person that comes before the court, whether it's a law enforcement officer, a victim of crime, a litigant in a civil case, whatever the role might be, that they have a full and fair hearing before the court and that they leave at the end of the day feeling that they've had an opportunity to have their case heard and to be fairly judged.
Thank you, Stephanie. Myra, same question. What do you see as your role as judge in this community?
The Cambridge Municipal Court is the people's court. This court serves the community. Anytime someone has an issue, they're most likely to come to the Cambridge Municipal Court, whether it be civil or criminal. It's about the law and applying the law. That's it. We also have a responsibility to be fiscally responsible to the taxpayers. It's important that we make a balanced budget and make sound decisions regarding the court's budget.
Thank you very much. Any rebuttal, Stephanie?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. Second question, and this one will go to Myra first. Myra, what experiences, skills, and abilities do you bring to the bench?
What's very interesting about my role currently is I serve as assistant law director. That means I'm in the Cambridge Municipal Court every week. I work with cases that range from speeding tickets to domestic violence to OVI. I also assist with the tax office in the small claims division where we collect back taxes so that we are able to make the budget for the city. With that experience, I'm going to be able to hit the ground running and understand the concerns that are brought to the court every day. I also am very concerned that we make sure that all people are heard equally and fairly and with compassion.
Thank you very much. Stephanie, same question. What experiences, skills, and abilities will you bring to the bench?
Well, as I said in my opening bill, I have more than 20 years of experience in the law. I have served in a variety of different functions, including as an assistant prosecutor for 15 years, where I prosecuted all levels of criminal offenses. In addition, I have extensive experience in civil litigation, having had a private practice for more than 19 years. In addition to that, I have experience from the bench as a result of my current duties as a magistrate. So I've spent 3 years hearing cases, making decisions in cases, and rendering those decisions. So I have a very diverse experience that I believe translates well and allows me to be prepared to take the bench on day one.
Thank you. Any rebuttal, Myra?
No, thank you.
Okay. Third question. This will go to Stephanie first. Stephanie, what qualifies you to be a judge beyond a law degree? Technically, why should I vote for you?
All right. Well, Again, this goes back to my answer to my last question. I have a very, very diverse experience. I've spent a lot of time in this community as a lawyer, both with the prosecutor's office and in my private civil practice. As you indicated in your opening statement, Bill, the municipal court has a very diverse jurisdiction. Not only criminal cases being misdemeanor criminal cases, traffic offenses, they also have some limited felony jurisdiction for issuance of search warrants and for preliminary hearings for cases that are felonies that will be bound over to the common pleas court. In addition to that, there is a small claims division, there is civil litigation, there are all landlord-tenant cases. I've practiced in all of those areas. In addition to having practiced in all of those areas, as I've indicated, I also have 3 years of judicial experience under my belt at this point as well.
Same question for you, Myra. What qualifies you to be a judge beyond a law degree, and why should I vote for you?
Well, thank you, first of all, for that question. But really, it's about community. It's not about me. It's about our community, and it's about serving the community as a whole. I've met with every township trustee, some more than once. I've met with every council, village, and city. I've met with all the school boards and the commissioners. It's important for the judge to work together with all agencies, and that's why I'm running for our community, so that we can have a court that is responsive to the community every day.
Thank you. Any rebuttal, Stephanie?
I don't believe so.
Okay, moving right on. Okay, this question is from Myra first, excuse me. Can you explain your judicial philosophy, and please use plain English?
Well, every lawyer likes to use big words, but in municipal court, we like to explain things so people can understand, so I'm happy to do that today. And my judicial philosophy simply is to treat people fairly and impartially and with compassion, so that everyone can have their day in court.
Stephanie, same question. In plain English, please, explain your judicial philosophy.
Well, Bill, I don't think I can give much of a different answer to that. The judicial philosophy of most judges is to ensure that the people that come before that court are heard, that they make decisions and decide cases in a fair and impartial manner, again, so that those that are coming before the court, whatever their position might be, have the opportunity to have their case heard and are heard fairly and impartially and with compassion.
All right, Myra, any rebuttal?
No, thank you.
Okay, all right, and so much for the softballs. I think we're done with that. Now, we're going to get to some nuts and bolts here, some different kinds of questions here. Now, this question first is for Stephanie. Overcrowding, a major concern in the Guernsey County Jail. What, as a judge, can you do to ease that situation?
Yeah, overcrowding in the Guernsey County Jail has been an issue for as long as I've been practicing law and was with the prosecutor's office. The one thing that I could do if elected as the judge of the municipal court is to create alternatives to incarceration. The court has expanded their electronic monitoring program. I know that they have gained and been awarded grants to allow for that electronic monitoring. I think that that's a very vital program for the court to continue, so that there is supervision of individuals within the community while not necessarily requiring them to be incarcerated.
All right, Myra, same question. Overcrowding is a very big concern in the Guernsey County Jail. It's a major concern. What, as a judge, can you do to ease that situation?
It's the same thing I do as assistant law director every week. I am concerned about the jail space. I'm concerned about victims of crime remaining safe. I've made a pledge to the commissioners that I will work with the commissioners on the electronic monitoring grant. One of the great things about the electronic monitoring that currently happens is that individuals can stay employed. They can have their supervision. They can be safe from their victims, or the victims can be safe from them. We actually have alerts on an app now for victims of crime. And then they can go back to work so that they can get out of the life cycle of crime and change their persons, places, and things.
Okay, Stephanie, any rebuttal?
Only in addition to the electronic monitored house arrest, the court is also offering extensive programs to continue as well, because, again, it allows people to get out of that the system of, or the cycle of committing crimes. So incarceration is important. It's important for there to be a punishment and a consequence to actions. However, there are times when it's necessary to have alternatives to that.
Thank you very much. Okay. On to the next question. This is first for Myra. Now, Myra, this happens in courtrooms. How are you going to handle conflicts of interest on the bench?
Well, first of all, because I don't maintain a separate private practice, I maintain a real estate license, that will go away if elected. I am not going to be a realtor. But part of our planning for this campaign is that I will need to quit my job immediately as assistant law director. I'm prepared to do that so that there can be a clean break between cases that have been prosecuted by my office and cases coming forward in the municipal court. The other thing that we will do is, if needed, we will bring in visiting judges for those few cases that there are conflicts because it's a case that maybe had a warrant when I was a prosecutor. But there's a very clear road to become judge from prosecutor. It's just like other judges in this county have done, and many will go on forward.
Thank you very much. All right, Stephanie, same question. How are you going to handle conflicts of interest on the bench?
Well, Bill, I haven't been practicing in the community for about 3 years now, so my involvement in any cases that are coming before that court is going to be more minimal than it would have been had I remained here in the community and practicing. However, there will still be conflicts that arise. There are situations that I'm sure will necessitate the appointment of a visiting judge. The Supreme Court does have a process by which visiting judges can be appointed, whether it's on an individual basis or if there's any type of more extensive appointment for continuing issues. However, if there are conflicts, we would follow that procedure.
Myra, any rebuttal?
No, thank you.
Okay. Next question. This is first for Stephanie. Now, as chief administrator of the court, and this is a different role than being a judge, are you going to continue to fund a full-time magistrate?
Well, Bill, I've given that some consideration, and if elected, I don't believe that I would consider or I would continue to have a full-time magistrate. Historically, the position throughout my legal career in the community had been a part-time position. In addition to that, the caseload of the court has been reduced over the last several years. Now, that's not to say that the caseload may not increase again or it will remain at the level that it is right now. But given the current level of cases before the court and that historical precedent of having a part-time magistrate, I believe it would be my intention to either eliminate the role of magistrate altogether temporarily or to bring in a part-time magistrate.
Thank you very much. Same question for you, Myra. As chief administrator of the court now, will you continue to fund a full-time magistrate?
Absolutely not. And the reason for that is in 2019, we saw 13,752 cases. In 22, we saw 5,310 cases. The court numbers do not require a magistrate. If I'm elected judge, I will be a full-time judge working every day, both as court administrator and hearing all cases. It is not necessary to have a magistrate with a current caseload. As it relates to the rest of the administration role, I will be working with the rest of the staff to make sure that we cover all of the proper reporting with the Supreme Court.
Any rebuttal, Stephanie?
Only to say that the current magistrate that's in the court is serving as both the magistrate and the court administrator, and the role of court administrator is extremely important to the court. So that is a role that may require a separate individual to serve in because the judge of the court is the full-time judge. And either of us that are elected will serve as the full-time judge. So it will be important to ensure that there's administration that is appropriate in covering all of the required responsibilities.
Thank you very much. Okay, now next question. This first is for Myra. What do you see as your role in helping to control both the city and the county budget?
With county and city budget, we are, unfortunately, the way the court works, we can only handle cases that are brought to us from law enforcement. But what the court can do is be very fiscally responsible, utilize grant money, utilize the MHA grant, utilize the probation grants. It's my understanding currently probation is almost 100% funded by grants. I hope to continue that. That is one way to take pressure off the police and, take pressure off of the Cambridge and Guernsey County budgets.
Stephanie, same question. What do you see your role as in helping to control both the city and the county budgets?
Well, the role of the court, as any public official or any elected official is to be a good steward of the public's money to make sure that it's being spent properly. I do believe that the court has done a fabulous job in increasing their grant funding in order to ensure that all the programs that they're required to, mandated by the state to have, are in place, but are being done through grant funding rather than having that strain on the local resources. So it would be my intention to continue to seek out that grant funding and ensure that that same level, if not more, is available in order to, again, continue to take the strain off the local resources.
Any rebuttal, Myra?
No, thank you.
Okay, next question. This first one is for Stephanie, and it's related to a comment you both made. Will you continue to employ a full-time court administrator?
Well, that's a different question than the magistrate.
It is.
Because of the important, and not to say that the magistrate is not an important role, but given the caseload that there is currently in the municipal court, it is my view that the role of court administrator, or having a court administrator, may very well be more important than having a magistrate currently. There are a lot of responsibilities that court administrator is required to attend to on a daily basis, a lot of reporting to the Supreme Court, a lot of requirements that they have to ensure are met. So at this point, it may well be that it's appropriate and necessary to continue to employ, or to employ a full-time court administrator.
Same question for you, Myra. Will you continue to employ, if elected, a full-time court administrator?
To start off with, because of the budget, I think it's important that we start with first my role as judge, if I'm elected, to handle the budget, to handle the reporting, and then if caseload goes up or demands go up, that's when we have a discussion with both the commissioners and council whether or not it's appropriate to bring on a full-time court administrator. Perhaps there is a part-time role that could be adjusted, or we could use the current staff and department heads to help fill in those roles and to work together to be fiscally responsible on that.
Any rebuttal, Stephanie?
The budget for next year has already been proposed, and it's my understanding that there is a provision within that budget for a full-time court administrator.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next question, and we're running through these pretty quickly here tonight, ladies, I must say. This question is first for Myra. What grants, if any, do you plan to pursue for municipal court?
Well, number one, the most important grant to pursue is the probation-related grants. Probation is how we make sure that people are following orders after they've been charged with a crime. It's the way that we handle individuals to see if they are able to get off the drugs, they're able to stay employed, to stop harassing their victims. Probation is critical, pretrial is critical, and those are two that I will focus on first. With the EMHA grant, I know the commissioners are very concerned about that. I will also be following up on that because those three things together are what keeps Guernsey County safe.
Stephanie, same question. What grants, if any, do you plan to pursue for municipal court?
It would be my full intention to continue to pursue grant funding for the probation department to ensure that the probation department continues to operate at the current level, if not even greater improvement than they've made over several years. The electronic monitored house arrest is critical to ensure that the jail overcrowding, that we try to keep it as under control as we can. Without that electronic monitoring house arrest grant, there would be countless other individuals in the jail at any given time, and there's simply too many people there as it is right now. In addition to that, the pretrial release grant, when I was with the prosecutor's office, there was always a gap in supervision. From when one was bound over from the municipal court to the common pleas court, there was a period of time when there often wouldn't be supervision. And that's just a recipe for disaster, to have someone who is facing an indictment and who isn't being supervised within the community. So the idea of continuing that pretrial supervision and the grant funding that has made that possible, I think, is vital.
Any rebuttal, Myra?
No, thank you.
Okay. Now, you've touched on this as well, and this question is first for Stephanie. What changes, if any, do you plan to make in the probation department?
It would be my intention to continue improvement of the probation department. I think there's some areas where they can become more up to date, whether it be with equipment or training and procedures that may need to be implemented and improved. But the probation department over the course of the last 7 years or so has made significant improvements. The goal of the probation office is to ensure that those people that are on probation are being properly supervised, that if there's violations of the probation, that there's proper accountability for those violations. So I want to ensure that we continue to supervise people to the highest level to ensure that that accountability remains there.
Same question for you, Myra. What changes, if any, do you plan to make in the probation department?
There are actually 3 things that I think are important. One is to bring community service work to the entire county. Right now, probationers, if they're ordered to complete community service work, typically do community service work within the city proper. We have a whole lot of people here that care in Guernsey County, trustees, councils, school boards, that could use more help. I think it's important that we allow probationers, if safe and if monitored properly, to be utilized by those various entities. Further, I think it's important that we make sure that individuals get jobs. Getting a job makes people get out of the life cycle of crime. I would like to bring in job and staffing agencies so that we can get people hired in real time, eliminate those roadblocks. I also think it's important that we get people their driver's licenses back after they've served their appropriate sanction. I believe it would be important to get legal days so that we can get people back on the road legally so they stop driving their car and hitting other people and damaging property.
Any rebuttal, Stephanie?
On the issue of community service, Bill, there is another court in the county. The Common Pleas Court supervises individuals on probation as well, and oftentimes those individuals are assigned to areas outside of the city. So it's not my intention, if elected, to try to compete with the Common Pleas Court. I would certainly like to work with the judge of the Common Pleas Court to ensure that the services offered and the community service that is being done is coordinated between the 2 courts so that all of the agencies and all of the townships and villages in the community are receiving the service workers that they need.
All right, ladies, and I think we've reached our final question, so that's some good news that we finally have here. And this question is first for Myra. Now, Myra, Muni Court Judge, it's not an island. What other agencies will you work with right now? Is it a good relationship? And if not, what can you do to help improve that relationship?
Well, municipal court is not an island. It's not an ivory tower. Municipal court is the court for the people and by the people. And it's so important that we continue to utilize those relationships. Currently, I'm on the Marcy's Law Task Force that assists victims of crime. We work with the prosecutor's office, the sheriff's office, the Haven of Hope, the law director's office, and probation to make sure that we're meeting the needs of victims. I would hope to continue that. Additionally, we have the Special Arraignment Protocol Team for those individuals that are facing mental health crisis in the jail or before being jailed. We're working together with defense attorneys to get people in the right treatment facility because they don't necessarily belong in the jail. That's another program I would like to continue. But I've made a promise to all the trustees and all councilmen and women that if there is a program or a way that we can work better together, the court should have open ears to listen to those things, and I would be making myself available to do that.
Okay, same question for you, Stephanie. Municipal Court Judge is not an island. What other agencies do you work with? Is it a good relationship right now? And if not, what can be done to improve it?
Well, I would agree, Bill, that no court is an island. The municipal court needs to work with local law enforcement, which would include the Cambridge Police Department and the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office, as well as the Ohio State Highway Patrol. I have a good relationship with those agencies. I'm proud to say that I've been endorsed by the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office FOP, as well as the Cambridge Police Department FOP. I've maintained a good relationship with them, despite not having been with the prosecutor's office for the past 7 years. In addition to that, the court needs to work with the Haven of Hope, and I've served on the board of directors for the Haven of Hope for 6 years, so I have a good relationship with that agency as well. And in more pressing matters before the court, there's mental health issues as well as drug and alcohol issues, obviously, that are very prominent in our community. So it's important for the court to work with service providers on those different issues so that there are wraparound services offered to individuals that are coming before the court to ensure that all of the issues are being met, all of their needs are being met, and that they're being, again, properly supervised and getting the treatment that they need.
Any rebuttal, Myra?
No, thank you.
Okay, one more question. I'm going to slip this in. This is related. This first goes to Stephanie. Are there other agencies do you feel that the court should be working with at this time?
Others that they should be working with
currently? Yes, other agencies the court should be working with.
I don't believe so at this time, aside from potentially more cooperation with the Common Pleas Court. I'm not suggesting that there isn't cooperation with the Common Pleas Court, but at this point in time, it's important that those two courts work together, because there are some cases that both courts are involved with, where individuals are charged with felony offenses. A lot of times those start out in the municipal court, and we want to ensure that there is proper supervision of the individuals from the time they leave municipal court until they're received by the Common Pleas Court.
Same question, Myra. Any other agencies you feel that the court should be working with?
I think we should be working together with the entire county as a whole. It's about community. It's not about one agency over the other. It's not about one agency being more important than the other. It's about working together to make Guernsey County better every day.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies. And I have run out of questions. I have nothing more. I hope we've covered just about everything that you could want to ask. But in case we haven't, we've now reached that point in this debate where you are going to be allowed to question each other. And Myra, the first question, if you have any questions composed, would go to you. You may ask Stephanie. You must answer the same question.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
We all know how much work it takes to run a county-wide campaign. How's your family doing?
They're doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Okay, same question here.
This campaign has been wonderful. My family has been wonderful, stepping up and working together. I mean, everyone from my 4-year-old niece making buttons for my campaign to my sister volunteering at the fair all week, and she took the week off for her job. This campaign has truly been a blessing to my family, but it's really been a nice exercise in learning about all of Guernsey County. My husband and I joke that we're vacationing in Guernsey County this year. Guernsey County is a wonderful place to live, and I'm very glad that my family has been so involved in my campaign.
Okay, any rebuttal?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now, this question goes to you, Stephanie. It's your turn to ask Myra a question, so please go ahead and compose your question. You have to answer the same question.
Yes. Yeah. Myra, you've claimed to other individuals in the community that the election is not party affiliated. While we don't have party labels on the November ballot, we are considered nonpartisan. We are, in fact, party affiliated. We'll both appear on the November ballot because of our party affiliations. You're the Democratic Party nominee, and I earned the Republican Party nomination after a contested primary. Why are you not admitting or not acknowledging the fact that you're the Democratic Party nominee?
Well, it's important to remember that neither of us have an RD next to our name on the ballot. Why is that? Because there is no room for politics in the courtroom. There's no red or blue. There's only red, white, and blue, because that is what justice is: red, white, and blue.
Okay. Stephanie, same question for you.
Well, Bill, I start by saying that I don't believe my opponent is completely wrong. Justice is blind, and therefore politics don't belong in the courtroom, and I, if elected, will be a fair judge to everyone that comes in the courtroom, regardless of their party affiliation. However, I believe that my opponent uses that talking point because she's a Democrat and I'm a Republican, and I am proud to be a Republican, and I am proud to have won the Republican primary with more than 60% of the vote. I'm proud to be endorsed by the Republican Central Committee in this race, and I believe that that's an important point for the voters to be aware of.
Any rebuttal?
Politics have never belonged in the courtroom. Not one time have I heard any other judge be asked what their politics are, whether or not they are red or blue, because simply it doesn't matter. It matters what the law is, and that's what justice is.
Okay, all right, now, second question, Myra, I believe this one is for you, to Stephanie.
Thank you. Upon review of the budget, it appears that one of the biggest expenses potentially that the municipal court can face is that of visiting judges. Because of your husband's supervisory role with the sheriff's office, we know that defense attorneys will object to you hearing their cases and file appeals if they do hear cases. How will you manage that fiscally?
Well, first, I'm precluded from hearing any cases that my husband is directly involved in. That does not preclude me from hearing other cases that are brought by the sheriff's office. Second, my husband is the lead investigator in the sheriff's office. The investigations division investigates felony offenses, of which the municipal court has only a very limited jurisdiction. Therefore, the number of, or the occasions where there are conflicts are more minimal than one might believe. That being said, conflicts aren't something new to the community. Each judge that has taken the bench has had conflicts in cases. As my opponent had indicated earlier, she too will have conflicts if she is elected due to her position as the current assistant law director. If there are cases that my husband's involved in that come before the court, then I will certainly recuse myself, and I will follow the procedure set by the Supreme Court for appointment of a visiting judge.
Okay. Same question for you.
What I didn't hear in the answer was what will be done to manage it fiscally. We also see that in the prior year of 2022 that there were at least 79 search warrants that were issued by the municipal court. I didn't hear if we would have to be hiring visiting judges for those court cases, or if we would be using other judges in the county to handle those search warrants.
Your rebuttal.
Well, there's two options there. There's one, either to hire a visiting judge to hear those warrants, or to seek assistance from other judges within the community that would be willing and able to issue search warrants if that does become an issue.
Okay, and last question of the night, Stephanie, I believe that goes to you, to Myra.
Everything in politics doesn't have to be contested and difficult, I guess. Myra, my question to you is, what is your husband's barbecue recipe?
Which one? That's the real
favorite. What is your favorite?
Well, it used to be brisket, but now that he's the #1 brisket cook in a lot of places, it's no longer brisket because we've had to make brisket tacos, brisket omelets for all the leftover briskets. But I think his claim to fame is brisket.
All right. Are you going to share that recipe with the rest of us?
I don't think anyone has enough time or ingredients for the amount of things that he does with his brisket, but I know a couple people in the room already have his brisket recipe.
Maybe my question should have been, what is the recipe specifically?
Well, we'd have to bring him up, and that might be a prop, so I don't think we're allowed to do that.
Well, he is an engineer, so it's going to be at least an hour to explain the recipe.
Okay, yeah, my dad was an engineer. It will be an hour to explain.
Absolutely.
Ladies, I honestly think that is it. I think that we have wrapped this thing up, and a very nice job by both of you tonight, so I want to thank you for joining us, and that is it for Meet the Candidates. Thanks for joining us for this edition. Thanks to the entire AVC News team. Closing statement. Oh, I'm sorry. That is my error. I want to wrap this thing up. I want to get out of here. All right. Closing statements, and I believe that the first closing statement belongs to Myra.
Well, thank you again for joining us tonight here in person and virtually in your living room. Again, my name is Myra Shire, and I'm asking your vote for Municipal Court Judge. There is no red or blue when you are judge. There is just the law. You have to be fair, impartial, empathetic, and consistent. If elected judge, I will be fair and firm. All of the values steeped in our Guernsey County upbringing. I'm not running against an opponent. I'm running to be your municipal court judge, to run a responsible court, to be a good steward of the taxpayer's dollar, and to make Guernsey County proud of their municipal court. Again, my name is Myra Shire, and I'm asking you to vote Myra in November for Municipal Court Judge, because every day counts when we work to make Guernsey County better. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie, your closing remarks, please.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for everybody that's here tonight, took their time to come and watch this debate. Thank you for everyone who is tuning in at home and who will review this later. I am Stephanie Williams. I am humbly asking for your vote on November 7th. It's important that whoever is elected to be the next judge of the municipal court has sufficient experience in all of the areas of law that the court is responsible for hearing and deciding. It's important that that individual have experience that comes from doing more than serving as a part-time lawyer in the community. I've sat in every seat in the courtroom. I have all of the experience that is necessary and so vital to this position. I'm ready to take the bench on day one to serve this community as I've done throughout my legal career. I am proud to have the endorsement of the Guernsey County Republican Central Committee. I am proud to have the endorsement of the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office FOP and the Cambridge Police Department FOP. But most importantly, I'm looking for your endorsement, the voters. And again, I'm asking for your vote on November 7th. Thank you.
Ladies, nice job. Thank you. And this time, this really is it. Okay, I want to thank you all for joining us for this edition of Meet the Candidates. Thanks to the entire AVC News team. I couldn't do it without them. Mike McKay for composing questions, acting as our timer tonight. Our general manager, Joel Lasigo, as always, for his technical expertise and for helping to compose questions as well. Keep in mind, this program right here will be available on demand online on our website, yourradioplace.com. You can check it out anytime or steer any of your friends or neighbors to it. I'm Bill Kassler. Don't forget, make your voice heard. Get out and vote in this upcoming general election. Thank you and have a great rest of your night.
From the Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center, this has been Meet the Candidates. Meet the Candidates is brought to you by Living Free Events, Stephanie L. Williams for Municipal Court Judge, Jagged Edges Hair Studio, Myra Shire for Municipal Court Judge, Pritchard Laughlin Civic Center, and Guernsey Brew House.